Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to do a review of Future's I Never Liked You project, which he dropped on the 29th of April. This is Future's 9th studio album, and just based off of the cover art alone, you should already know what this album is going to be about. In comparison to his previous album, High of Life, where the artwork reflects the title, this artwork is slightly more bougie and should already tell you that Future is back on his BS. This hard-hitting trap-heavy album, while slightly distinct from his previous projects, does present some lowlights and highlights though. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give my opinion on the worst 5 songs on the album and the best 5 songs on the album, with my rating at the end and general overall opinion. So without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking off the best of the worst songs in my opinion is a song which isn't the worst, but it's not the best. At number 5 is I'm That N. It's your typical flexi song. Honestly, in my opinion, this song sounds great in your car. You know when you're just zoning out and your brain is on autopilot and whatever you're listening to in the background doesn't necessarily interfere with your thoughts, but it's not unnoticeable at the same time? That's what this song is. It has some very questionable lyrics though. Left her in her butt, made her pee-pee. It can get slightly childish at times. I would say the best thing about the song is the chorus, which is very catchy. Together with the beat, it's kind of similar to that of Mask Off, almost as if it was a B-side to Mask Off. But other than that, when you take this into consideration with a few other songs on the album, it seems to fade into similarity. It's relatively average, and there's definitely songs on the album which have more of an impact, regardless of whether or not that impact is good or bad. Definitely not a stunner. Next up at number 4 of the worst is Massaging Me. It's really fun. The beat is very reminiscent of very early Future, like Pluto Future. It's pretty catchy after you listen to it a few times. My problem with Massaging Me though is that it fails to make a lasting impression on you in comparison to the songs that I've ranked higher. In a way as well, it kind of feels like a filler track. It's almost as if Future handed in a 15-track album the day before his label wanted him to release it, and his label told him, yo, the brief said 16 tracks, not 15. You gotta get another one, and fast. And Future just threw it on there. It just sounds like he was just messing around in the studio. Nothing groundbreaking. I think Future has a lot of other songs in the vault which probably could have taken the spot of Massaging Me easily. Middle of the worst on my list is For a Nut featuring Gunna and Young Thug. Feature-wise, this has to be the most underwhelming song on the project. I was pretty disappointed when I heard it the first time. I wanted to believe that the song was going to grow on me as the week went on, but it just never did. I am a huge fan of Young Thug, and I think he actually had the worst verse on this song. Young Thug is used to saying crazy stuff on a song, but a lot of these lyrics are just vulgar. I mean, it is called For a Nut, but it doesn't really elevate the song at all. I just put some diamonds in her butt, and I seen it shining when she nut. What imagery is this? The whole song is just strange with some very zesty lyrics. Yeah, they needed to go back into the studio for this one, or at least get a little refund on their studio time if they recorded this in a place that wasn't their house. Just before worst, we have The Way Things Going. This song is incredibly repetitive and not in a good way. Future says The Way Things Going at least 23 times in the song. Yes, I did count. If we cut out how many times he says The Way Things Going, the song goes from a 2-minute and 59-second song to a 1-minute and 50-second song. He spends over a minute just saying this phrase, which doesn't sound like a long time, but if you're focused on what the song is trying to talk about, it's almost impossible to ignore how much it is being said. The repetition, as well as the fact that every time I've listened to this album in its entirety, I've literally had to fight myself not to skip the song, definitely tells you that this is not a favorite song of mine. The beat is uninspiring and kind of drab. It's kind of samey, and it's just simply not necessary. Lastly, we have the worst song on the album by far, which is We Just Wanna Get High. This is a last simply because I completely forgot the song was on the album. If that doesn't tell you how irrelevant and unnecessary I feel the song is, then I really don't know for you. I literally feel like I've never even heard this song, which is impossible because I've listened to the entire album at least twice every day this week. In my opinion, that's a testament as to the impact that the song left on me, which is no impact whatsoever, so you know, there you go. It is impossible for me to rank this song any higher than last, when I couldn't even tell you what the song sounds like. So for this reason, this song is dead last. Those are my 5 lowlights of the album for reasons explained. Please look at the title screen to see the songs that I ranked middle of the pack. All of these songs had at least some sort of memorable highlight, whether that would be the lyrics or the beat or maybe even the feature. Keep It Burnin' featuring Kanye West is definitely going to be a festival favorite, like in a Rolling Loud or Wireless setting. Kanye's Bible influenced lyrics are really quite unforgettable. Cross me so much I got nails in my hand. And then slightly more memeable lyrics such as I'm gonna pop up at your house if you pop up in my mansions at least boost the song a bit, because Future definitely doesn't. Slightly more mellow tunes like Back to Basics and Love You Better add a softness to the album, which is slightly rare to see from Future, so I found that refreshing. And 7:12 PM is arguably up there in terms of being one of Future's best opening intros. I particularly enjoy the goofiness of rapping Chinane with Ginang. Obviously this may fall flat for other people, but it was fun to me. Despite these songs on the screen having their own highlights and lowlights, they didn't stand out enough to me to be top 5, which brings me straight to it. Kicking off my top 5 is Holy Ghost, simply because of how villainous the song sounds. It literally sounds like something you'd hear out of a Purge film, or in the Joker film when all the anarchy was happening. Simply because of the layers of the beat and the way Future sounds over it, it couldn't be anywhere lower than 5th. This song stands out like a black sheep amongst the supposed luxury of this album. It's quite difficult to ignore. At number 4, we have Chickens featuring ESTG. This is another song where a feature has completely outshone Future. I was listening to this song in the car on full blast the other day and literally had to wheel up ESTG's verse at least 5 times. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know what the hell Future was rapping about on this song. ESTG's verse and cadence, along with the disgustingly catchy hook, fits like a glove over this beat and was just too good for me to not put it in my top 5. I think this song has great commercial potential too. At number 3, we have Wait For You, featuring Drake and Thames. This is probably the most beautiful song on the entire album. Yes, it could be considered very predictable and maybe slightly boring to some people. Drake, Future, a sample of a woman singing her heart out. We've heard this before, or at least something like this before. But this is a perfectly balanced song. Each artist has a great amount of time on it and remain equally as relevant as each other. I also enjoy how Future and Drake's verses are so similar to each other but have subtle nuances. Out of all of the songs on this album, I think it was a great choice for Future to choose this song as a single. The song has buckets of commercial potential. I wouldn't be surprised if this song goes to top 20 on Billboard. I can see it trending on social media already. In silver position, we have Voodoo featuring Kodak Black. This song has a chorus that I can see a lot of men loving. The personification of the devil as a woman is something I'm sure a lot of men will love to sing about, and I think from a commercial perspective, the lyrics of the chorus of the song is quite genius. It's one of my personal favorites simply because of how Kodak Black sounds, and I also love the fact that Future didn't get Kodak to rap here. I'm sure a lot of people were expecting Kodak to rap, but the fact that he doesn't is slightly unorthodox. This will be very similar to Keep It Burning in the sense that I can see this being a massive hit for festivals. This is almost perfect. My only criticism is that I'm not entirely sure how necessary Cash Page's verse was. To me, on this song, Future and Kodak Black come together like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They're pretty strong on their own. I don't think they needed anybody else on this song. Sorry, Cash. And that, ladies and gentlemen, leaves me with the number 1 song on this album, in my opinion. Puffin' on Zooties. Yes, Puffin' on Zooties. A lot of people might disagree with me, but this song caught my attention upon my first impression and has maintained it all week. Not once did I need to skip the song, and it was the first song off of the album that made me go, oh yeah, I definitely need to add this to my playlist. The beat, the tone of Future's voice, the lyrics, the fact that the song is mellow but not boring, the fact that the song has a little bit of a lo-fi feel, and the fact that I have very little constructive criticism about the song tells you all that you need to know. This is the Muhammad Ali of all the songs on this album. It's perfect. Honestly and truly. Willing to fight anyone who disagrees. Overall, I give this album a 7.5, simply because when Future gets it, he gets it. And when he doesn't, it's just kinda meh. It can be quite obvious when Future has just added a song to an album for the sake of boosting his numbers. The beats are consistent and heavy hitting, however sometimes I do feel like Future seems to hit a slight wall lyrically, as you could see in songs such as I'm That N. Another weakness of this album is that sometimes it feels as though Future made this album for memes. It's like he's playing up to the internet trope of him being super toxic, as you could see in the Wait For You video. I can definitely see a lot of men quoting Future lyrics in tweets and IG captions. There are many memeable lines on this album, as shown on the title screen here. I guess it makes it fun in a way, but at the same time, depending on who is listening to it or the age of whoever's listening to it, these lines can kind of fall flat. Overall, a relatively decent 9th album from Future. He's shown us that he's still alive and kicking, and that he's not going anywhere fast. And there you have it, guys, my review of I Never Liked You by Future after a week of letting the album marinate post-release. Let me know what you guys think of the album. I'm anticipating a lot of disagreements, but the aging of albums has a way of changing your mind. I look forward to reading you guys' comments, and I'll see you in the next one.